world where comics, movies, games, rumors, and Kardashians come at you 24/7. 3 champions will rise to defend you from wasting precious time, money, and emojis. BK, Nate, and Derreck will show you how to do it the player way.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy BK, back with his co-captains Derreck.
That's me, at Corrupting the System on Instagram.
And Nate.
Yeah, still putting the system back together.
I should have let Nate go first.
It's all good, man. It doesn't matter who goes first. As long as the system gets corrupted, that's what needs to happen. Whatever system you may have out there.
I too agree. As in most things in life, it doesn't matter who goes first as long as the right person gets to finish last.
Giggity giggity goo goo goo.
All right, man. Well, I normally along the same lines. Normally I am a giver, but today I'm gonna take for myself first. I want to go first. So what's going on?
Oh,
exactly.
Did you just roll up on 20-inch segways?
Hey, I had to do it. I had to do it. Anyway, this is your boy BK, and what's going on this weekend? We're gonna start off with our Gamers Gauntlet.
Ranger.
You are now entering the Gamers Gauntlet.
The Gamers Gauntlet, as always, brought to you by Weekly Games Chat. If you are looking for the latest in gaming and you want to learn how to do gaming the player way, pop over to Chris, John, and Sean's show, Weekly Games Chat. That's where they do it the player way. So basically what I did this weekend... Ka-ching! As you guys are listening to the audio version of the podcast, you can't quite see, but on video, I have my Regal Red Team Valor cap on. And so it was an amazingly fun weekend for those who are still
hanging. Where'd you get that hat, though?
Hey, at New York Comic Con with my boys. That's exactly right. So, it was a lot of fun. I know you guys don't play.
Times.
I know,
Good
Derreck,
times.
you have an account, but I think it's inactive. And Nate, I don't think you've ever played Pokemon Go. Did you ever play?
I have it. I play every now and then.
Yeah. It was it's been a kind of slow going for the last year, but as of probably around March, April, Niantic really turned on the afterburners and started to really decide that we're going to prioritize work with the Pokemon Company to keep and garner new subscribers. And so they this weekend released probably their biggest update since the Generation 2 Pokedex opened with our gym rework. So fighting in gyms is a lot more closer to what it's like to catch Pokemon and fight in gyms and to inhabit gyms like the mainstay
Elaborate
games.
on that, man. What do you mean exactly?
So,
what have they done in the game?
Well, as you know before, going to a gym and fighting, you did not get a gym badge. You now get a gym badge for just visiting a gym. And there's a map that...
Are there rewards, XP on different amounts and levels?
Yes, absolutely. There is definitely a team bonus if you have... there's a Pokestop at the top of every gym now. So when you spin it and you're not a part of the gym, you get a certain amount of items. But if your team is occupying the gym, then you get some additional items and a little thing that comes up with this team bonus. Even if you're not one of the Pokemon in the gym, one of the trainers in the gym, if you help feed the Pokemon and keep the gym together, then you get bonuses there as well, Stardust and things like that. So a lot of fun. On top of that, they've now released a rework that allows the legendaries to be released. So now that you're fighting, now that you're able to do these things called raids where you fight these much stronger Pokemon that take a lot more XP to even, fight. So it's a lot of fun. Here in Atlanta, a lot of people are out on the streets playing. So it's a lot of fun. Get out there and play, and that'll do it this week for the gaming chat. What did you got? Were you guys up to this weekend?
Let's see. I watched Kong Skull Island, and I watched the latest season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Netflix.
I love that. I love that Nate is kind of becoming this kind of like, you know how there's always when you're in college and you're at a certain age where you have a roommate, you always have that guy. I was that guy who always you could count on eating the leftovers, and if you are. Or even you even become that guy when you get older and you have a significant other. You're that guy who says, this is still good. All you got to do is wipe that mold off that cheese and I can still eat it. You know what I'm saying? So Nate has become that cleanup guy who can go out and watch these old series or these old movies that we haven't never had a chance to touch on. So Kong Skull Island, take us away, man. Tell us what we need to know about this thing.
Well, it's a King Kong movie for one. Brief note, Sam Jackson will really make you angry in this movie. I'm glad that they showed Kong from sort of the beginning of...
Say what again?
Sam Jackson will make you angry in this movie. And I'm glad the movie's called Kong, and they showed a lot of Kong. That was my problem with Godzilla, is I had to wait till the end. Sort of my problem with Power Rangers. Don't call the movie something and take your time.
Did they show a lot of Kong in this?
A lot of Kong.
I just want to explain to people listening that Nate doesn't like it when he has to wait till the climax of a movie to see the climax of a movie. I just want to explain that to everybody. That he hates it, that he has to wait till the ending scenes of the movie to see the most climactic events.
Yes, in a sense, but...
Go watch Quentin Tarantino, Nate. Go watch Quentin Tarantino.
You call the movie one thing, show me that. I spoke about this on Power Rangers. Show me Power Rangers.
Look, from the jump.
I agree with you. I agree 100%. So are you glad that you waited until on demand to watch?
Yes.
Watch this.
I'm happy with having spent the $4.99.
That was a big movie, though, man. That was worth seeing.
I mean, yes, to people that have been fans of the series.
I skipped it myself.
I'm a layman when it comes to these movies. I just, yeah.
Is that what you are? A layman?
I did enjoy Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4 more than I enjoyed Kong. Which I don't really enjoy that show too much anymore. I can wait till it comes on Netflix. But
yeah, I'm so behind on that show. The last time I was watching it seriously was when what was it? Ghost Rider was on there. Like that's when I.
Well, that was this season.
No, like that episode when he was on there.
Well, that was
the first episode where he appears.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like, and then I was like, okay, that's good.
I will say this is probably the best season they have had. I mean, I wouldn't say rush out to watch it now, but, it was cool to see Ghost Rider. They did a pretty good job with, making him look pretty cool, considering it's ABC series.
Absolutely. So that's what's up. What about you, Derek?
Well, as you saw on the gram last night, I went ahead and took that movie lump this week, another Michael Bay installment of Transformers: The Last Night. I'll go ahead and give you a rundown for this. It's a.
So are we gonna do a quick rundown right now?
Well, I'm just gonna. No, we're not. Maybe not a full box office rundown. I'm just going to talk about the movie. But we did do this before. No. Here's the appropriate responce. Yeah, let's do that.
Quiet on the set. Can you please have quiet on the set?
Yes, can I have your picture, please? Box office hustle.
All right, it's time for the box office hustle.
All right, cut and print. Beautiful guy.
Yo, shot.
Box office hustle. Take it away, Derek.
All right, so it's a Michael Bay movie. What do we always get with Michael Bay movies? Crash, bang, boom. We got explosions. We're going to have low sweeping shots. We're going to have choppy editing, which is my biggest pet peeve with Michael Bay. I hate seeing somebody leaning up against the wall and in the very next scene, they're down in a corner. And, but it's a Transformers movie, so if you can get past the choppy editing and let's randomly see this and the normal frustrations that you have with these types of films, it makes up for it toward the end. The climax, which I'm sorry, Nate, you'll have to wait till the end of the movie to see the climax of it, but it actually kind of comes together, at least in the end. But honestly, movie-wise, you're seeing exactly what you've been seeing. You're seeing Transformers, a ton of Transformers, a little more background on Cade and kind of what he's been working toward and dealing with the Transformers. It actually starts out with showing how the Force from the previous Transformers is now pretty much kind of running the world in a whole defend against Decepticons. They've even like arrested Decepticons, had them in like holding cells and all this type. It's like they've really kind of adjusted the future, and anyone assisting Transformers is now a fugitive because we have a law in order that we are not even allowing Transformers on planet Earth. And that's kind of where this movie starts out. It's kind of a little different take, and they've moved toward it, but it kind of comes together in the end. The animation on here is pretty intense, but it felt every bit of 2.5 hours, which Wonder Woman was 9 minutes or 8 minutes shorter, and it didn't feel like that long. But this one, as usual, Michael Bay, it was just so long. I'm glad I saw it in the theater because, hey, I'm still a kid at heart, but it's not great. Reminds me of that bet that was mentioned last week, but we can just move past that right now for this particular second, even though I will definitely be relinquishing one of my shots to BK after his predictions about this weekend, so we'll just go ahead and move past that. But after I got back from watching Transformers, which, if you want to go see it, go see it. If not, you can wait. It's just not like you have to see it in the theater. You can clearly tell when the IMAX shots are on the screen versus the normal panoramic, and you see like the black bar come up just so many times during the movie. It was terrible. It just anyway.
Wait.
I got home.
You would see it jump from like filling up the screen to
often, just like in Revenge of the Fallen, which was one of my worst things from Revenge of the Fallen that I hated. You'd see the long wide shot, and then boom, the IMAX, and I'm just like, yes, and but anyway, after I got home, I remembered that Glow, original series on Netflix about ladies of the 80s auditioning for a wrestling show, and that dropped on Friday, so I went ahead and watched the first 3 episodes of that, and starts off a little slow, but it's interesting. I'm 3 episodes in. I'm going to watch the whole season. It's interesting just to see it kind of centers around this very beige actress, but the series specifically shows that she's beige. They're like, even while she is on a cast, he called the director, he's like, I don't know if I like you. Your hair's brown, which is the same color as shit, and you have no ass. But I think I like it, but maybe I don't like it. I don't know. You're just that actress to me. Which is, I'm like, all right, well, as long as they make fun of it, it's cool. But you see some 80s looking cuties and some leotards and spandex wrestling across the screen. So I'm kind of curious to see what'll go. We'll probably have more of a rundown next week. I'll go ahead and they're only 30-minute episodes, so you don't have that much to commit to it, but it's definitely worth the watch. Which
it's interesting that this show, because Glow just came out, and then you got I'm Dying up here on Showtime is dropping soon as Jim Carrey's project about a period
set in the 70s.
Yeah, set in the 70s, comedians in the 70s, and what it was like to be a part of that.
Winter Soldier, shout out.
What it was like to be. So it's interesting that like all these shows are kind of finally deciding to say, hey, Mad Men was a good idea. Let's go back and see if we can do that. There's another one coming out. Is it Snowfall or something like that on FX about the crack epidemic in Los Angeles? And that also is a period piece. So it's interesting that all these different period pieces are coming out in terms of show. I think it's like Zombies was one thing because there was 2 or 3 different series out that kind of touched on zombies. The main one that got popular was The Walking Dead, of course. But it's interesting that this is where people are going, is they're going after these period type pieces that kind of stretch across several decades so that they can lead up to now. We'll see how it works for them. It didn't work for the Get Down, that moment of silence for that show. But yeah,
we never came back to that one, did we?
No, we never did. There's no reason to come back to it. As soon as I hate when they announce that a series is canceled before you finish the season. Because this
makes you not want to finish it.
Yeah, like I'll get to it at some point. After all, we're only really keeping up with a lot of these series just so we can have adequate water cooler talk. So we'll see how this works out.
I want to ask you, BK, real quick.
Go ahead.
You mentioned in Snowfall, kind of remind me. Forgive my interjection, but kind of remind me of that movie coming out with the one that's set in Detroit, '60s riots.
That's another one.
I can't think
with Finn, right?
Yeah, exactly. That one looks very powerful.
You talking about that now? Are you talking about the movie? The movie Detroit?
You just, I know I jumped from Netflix to big screen, but you just mentioning Snowfall just now about the crack epidemic, and then I was like, oh yeah, what's that other movie?
Man, that Detroit movie looks like something serious, man. There's a lot of that's another thing is ever since, what's the movie that has Stay Woke?
Fences?
Say it again?
Oh, Get Out.
Yeah, ever since Get Out, there's a lot of racial inspired. I'm sorry that I'm a white person.
Reminds me of the early '90s, doesn't it?
Bro,
reminds you of the early '90s.
There's a lot of those movies coming out because Detroit's coming. That one's coming out. There's several of them. The Thurgood Marshall. Have y'all seen the trailer for that yet?
No, Thurgood Marshall. Man,
bro.
Book report on that gentleman. Several.
Nate, have you seen the trailer for that?
Yeah, with Black Panther.
Dude, he looks like he is kicking ass. Thurgood Marshall is like Django in this movie, dude. It's almost like the crime mysteries of Thurgood Marshall before he became who he became. It reminds me a lot of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, but in this case, it's all real stuff.
Yeah.
Like supposedly all of this stuff in the Thurgood movie is 100% real. Actually, did happen. So
Chadwick's playing a lot of. Doing a lot of biopics, you know. He did Jackie Robinson and then the James Brown one.
Yeah,
and now
he's so good. He's such a great actor, man.
Yeah,
dude, absolutely. All right, man. We've covered a lot of.
And what's his name from Get Out's going to be in Black Panther? Just to tie another one to
absolutely
Chadwick too. What's his name? The actor from Get Out.
Yeah,
he's in
absolutely.
there too, along with Michael Jordan, who played the Human Torch in the terrible Fantastic Four.
Michael B. Jordan. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting time movie wise of the different themes and then television wise. But
sorry to interrupt, BK, but to bring up Michael Jordan, actually a different Michael Jordan, NBA legend, Hall of Famer, of course, 6 rings. But
I see where your head is at.
I watched another episode of Abstract, The Art of Design. Now we talked about this off air last week, but this follows the actual creative minds of several different designers. The first one was just complete abstract art. This particular one, this was a really good one. It was following the shoe designer of actually the Air Jordans, the actual Jordan 3, to be honest. And this follows how he got into just shoe design actually itself. And then he just goes through his creative process of actually creating Jordans. And you know me, BK, I've never been a sneakerhead ever in my life, ever. And I was watching this show and I was just completely fascinated seeing this guy's doodle book go from random thoughts into actually creating a shoe. And he actually opens up his personal journal and you see on page 1 just filled with art and random creativity. And then he's and 8 pages in, this is how I came up with the Jordan. And I'm just my mind is blown. And you know how important Jordans are in the community. You know what I mean? And this guy works.
And you said the name of the show is Abstract?
Yeah, Abstract. It's called Abstract: The Art of Design. The thumbnail on Netflix has a ton of map pencils on there. But it was just so fascinating. I highly recommend this show. I know, Nate, you're a graphic design artist and artist at heart. There's several episodes that I don't know if you've seen some. I know we talked about the one, I think episode 9 with the Fairlow graphic.
Episode 6,
yeah.
Paula Shear. Yeah, she's a graphic designer and an amazing typographist. And she's had decades and decades of work. Man,
that's what's up. I'm gonna check that out. That's right up my alley. Thank you. I'm about to learn something. You know what I thought? You know what I thought you were going to transition to when you said Michael Jordan?
What did you think?
I thought you were about to transition to our sports rundown.
Oh.
Yes, it's time for the sports rundown, brought to you by the Playaway Podcast. Take it away, gentlemen.
It's time.
It's time. All right, that's right.
Your starting lineup.
Sports rundown.
It's time. It's time for the sports rundown.
You said NBA Michael Jordan. I thought you were heading over to that
we did have the draft Thursday night. A lot of teams made some picks. Before I get to the main obvious story of the NBA draft, I just got to, of course, give my Dallas Mavericks a shout out, as they have had drafting woes for longer than the Cowboys. Everyone always gives my Cowboys grief for their drafting issues, but the Mavericks missed out on Charles Barkley in the mid-'80s. So let's really talk about bad draft choices and decided to go with Detlef Shrimp. So, and they could have had, anyway, Patrick Ewing. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about those hurts. Let me move forward. But they actually didn't trade away their pick. They got Dennis Smith Jr., North Carolina State guard. This guy instantly makes us better. Still doesn't let us even see the taillights of Golden State. So moving right along, I'll go ahead and dig it to the bigger story of the NBA draft, and that is that, surprising to no one, Lonzo Ball. He went to the Lakers, right? What a surprise! After
Bro, you got to give it up to that dude's dad. That dude's dad, he wheeled that draft pick into.
He sure did, and he told a team that, "Don't you draft my boy." Don't you draft my boy? And very reminiscent of Archie Manning telling the Chargers not to draft Eli Manning. But I don't know if you guys have seen the Foot Locker commercial with Lonzo Ball, where it's like a tribute to dads. It was for Father's Day. And you hear other athletes saying, "Yeah, man, and all those hours of shooting in the driveway, and oh yeah, picking me up from practice." And you hear Lonzo Ball yelling at my high school coach for not giving me enough touches. And then you hear some other kid, "Yeah, and just trying on different jerseys and screaming at the NBA of what team I'm going to go to." And he wraps up with just totally bashing his dad. But it's a perfect. You guys need to peep that commercial. But man, he really did. Put his son, man, he got his son paid, man. He got his retirement back for somebody who averaged less than 2 points when he was in the NBA. LeVar.
Yeah, shout, man, definitely shout out to that family, man. I can't remember a time in the NBA where a family worked so hard to get their kid into being a top draft pick. I mean, of course, Lonzo Ball, the talent is there, of course. I'm not trying to discredit anybody, but still, that's all anybody has been talking about this entire time is his dad leading up to the draft. It was like, Lonzo Ball's dad this, and Lonzo Ball's dad. It's just crazy,
it's nuts, man. But I respect him for the support, but man, this guy is already a beatdown. He's already a beatdown. I am perfectly fine if I don't hear anything from LeVar Ball for the rest of my life, but I know he has 2 more sons.
Yeah.
I think.
So, wait, I'm not really familiar with any of this. Why did he want his son to go to Los Angeles more than anywhere else?
He even said that he is going to make them a playoff team. Now, Los Angeles won 27 games last year out of an 82-game season. 27 games out of an 82-game season. And one more time for the people in back. 27 games out of an 82 season, and his dad says that they are going to be a playoff team. So he, for the past several months, Nate, what you've missed out on is this guy has gone on ESPN, gone head-to-head with pretty much any sports anchor that he could, arguing his son for the NBA and exactly where he's going to go, and just branding him. Even came out with a shoe that was a $500 cost.
Branding him in a way that LeBron and Kobe were never branded.
Not since Tiger Woods. Not since Tiger Woods was marketed by Earl.
Oh, whoa. Shout out to Derreck for the reference to Tiger Wood, because remember when Tiger Wood came out, his dad was hugely instrumental in that too.
So, wait, are we going to say this guy has Tiger Woods skill in basketball?
No, here's honestly, now, when we're talking about talent, now Lonzo is a phenomenal athlete. He is a phenomenal athlete. If you get a chance, look up you don't even have to look up a highlight. Just look up a clip of a game, and you'll see this kid is really talented. So, fortunately for him, honestly, LeVar is not overselling his talent, because Lonzo is extremely good. He went number 2 overall. The only reason he didn't go number 1 overall is because his dad told him not to take him. So, but he's extremely talented. He does severely improve the Lakers. He might get them to a 40-45 win team, but if they go to the playoffs, it will solely be mostly because of him. And honestly, didn't the Lakers just drop Chris Paul too? Anyway,
who went number 1?
It was actually Markelle Fultz to the 76ers.
But as we spoke about on a previous episode, where did Ball fall?
2. He went second overall.
There you go. So like we talked about on a previous episode. Exactly. Yeah. I was like, should I say his first name or not? Because it won't.
Where did Ball actually drop to?
Where did Ball actually fall? Exactly.
Where did the
it's a shame he didn't bounce back up.
Oh! I'm telling you. Well, it's going to be a shame if he does not bounce back.
Bitch, what?
No.
Oh, man.
Appreciate that. Nice.
How do you know if he's choking to death? Because he would then be a blue ball.
Oh!
It's cool that he's going to be around here in LA.
Very good.
That works
and
because
his dribbling
he's in LA.
has obviously got him here. His ball handling skills have got him here.
Hashtag dad jokes.
Yes, that's right. And LeVar has had really good ball handling skills on this branding.
Pause after that
And
one.
if you take that out,
Hey man, he did it. I didn't do
it. But in all seriousness, in terms of an analysis of
we weren't serious just now
of his
Oh.
dad's of LeVar Ball's thought
Balls?
process.
Yep.
I think
Let
it's
me
a
just-
perfect storm. I think the whole idea is you want your kid to go to a franchise where he can shine, but at the same time, a franchise that can afford to pay him. And it just so happens that the Lakers is the perfect franchise for that. They have had a dynasty. They've been a dynasty. They are a dynasty, and they have deep pockets. And yet, at the same time, they're coming off in a terrible season. They haven't had a star as bright as Kobe since he retired. So it's perfect that to get someone like this kid who is going to put butts in seats. So of course they're going to put him. LA knows what they're doing. That's LA life. Boy, they was out there that said, yo, even if this kid doesn't have a good season, he'll put butts in seats at least for one single season. So it's a great idea. Yeah. It's a win-win for LA. It'll all fall on the ball to see if he can actually bounce back.
Does the NBA
do that
do,
one in there?
Does the NBA do rookie contract caps like the NFL?
I'm sorry, I can't hear it. We wilded out. We wilded out. We going too far. What did you just say?
You know how the NFL instituted rookie contract caps,
right?
Like, does the NBA do the same thing, or are they allowed to pay them whatever they want?
What they usually end up doing with regards to that, let me see here, because the NFL was like definitely a pioneer in caps, and then baseball actually shortly followed on that one, especially with like international players, like usually from Japan. But Markelle Fultz will earn $33.7 million over his rookie contract, which includes $15 million guaranteed, and Lonzo's getting $30. Which is a 4-year deal, which is about average for a rookie. Just like in the NFL, they usually have a 4-year option, 4-year contract with a 5th-year option.
Yeah.
But I am very envious of that rookie cap because instantly they can retire for 4 generations at least.
Absolutely, especially if they manage it right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean,
especially with those awesome shoes that he came out. I think they're at TJ Maxx, like the meme said, for $27.99.
That's what's up, bro. Well,
Mervin's. You go to Mervin's.
Ooh, Mervin. Shout out to Mervin. but no, like that's. I mean, if they
Montgomery Wards.
If I was somebody, I would. If I was somebody who was really a hype beast about shoes, I mean, I got some Team Jordans in the closet that I'm into.
He can lick the soles of them.
Exactly.
Shout out to Pat Joe.
Exactly. But no, I mean, if you're smart, I would go out and buy some of those shoes if you can even get a pair for a decent price. But they're pretty expensive. I've seen
$495.
Yeah, but because everybody knows the truth. If this kid turns out to be the next LeBron James, man, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Dude, he's really, really good, to be honest. I mean, it's crazy. And earlier, I need to correct. I misspoke. I said, did the Lakers drop Chris Paul? It was actually the Clippers dropping him. I was off on my LA teams. But
it's still LA teams, though.
NBA buzz, though, is that him and LeBron are boys. Chris Paul and LeBron are boys. And it's very possible that he may go to Cleveland.
And he definitely needs some sort of Autobots type of situation right now just to kind of
Autobots.
I read there was sort of turmoil because they like fired or let go of the general manager in Cleveland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's crazy, dude, you know that you are a huge, powerful athlete when the media is stating how LeBron was upset about the firing of the GM because he wasn't consulted. He is a player. He is a piece on the field that general managers and owners move around to put money in their pocket, and he has the kind of pull that he usually has a say-so in those type of things. So for them to go over his head, in essence, and his pull in Cleveland, that's really saying something. I don't know if Cleveland's trying to assert, hey, LeBron's not our entire franchise. Just so you know, we still have some management, or if that was just to just get the story out there and just have some buzz about it, because as we know, any publicity is good publicity. But that was just kind of surprising because LeBron has been instrumental in really pulling that whole team together. So it's very possible that Chris Paul could just float his way up to Cleveland. Yeah. But I still don't think it'd be enough for Golden State. That's what's up. Shout out to Mr. Cooper.
Indeed. Shout out to Cooper. Hang with the Cooper gonna break it down. Yes. And rolling on.
And if you don't get that reference, she's too young for you, bro.
Exactly. And rolling along to another topic within the same arena of sports. See what I did there? Rolling along.
Arena sport. Hold on, BK. There is something I want to talk to you about, but I might save it for after what you're about to talk about. But it's been something that you and I have to discuss.
Hey, well, we can talk about it after.
I'm going to put a pin in that.
Hey, put a pin in it, but we got to stay on the ball. Anyway, moving right along to a different sport, MMA. Normally, these MMA rundowns would be centered around UFC, but Bellator has really been maximally competitive, with kind of following the old blueprint of the UFC. If you remember, UFC, what made them really put UFC on the map, even though they were out since the 90s, when they finally got The Ultimate Fighter on Spike Television, giving away those free fights and getting that audience, and then building up to a pay-per-view audience, that's what put them on the map. And so Bellator has moved. It was a big announcement when a couple years back when they announced that Bellator was going to be the home. Spike was going to be the home for Bellator. And so moving up to now, in a time where UFC is still looking for stars, they're still trying to find that next big thing. You can find that fight to find better talent on YouTube. Dana White looking for a fight. Dana White also has Tuesday night fights coming out as well. 2 brand extension items that are going to help show people kind of how they're trying to win that talent. UFC is constantly trying to keep their eye on new talent because they know that Bellator is doing nothing but buying the old talent. So UFC 180 was a mixture of old and new B-level players, people who were either used to be A-level players or people who have not yet made that jump to being that major player yet. At Bellator 180 on Spike Television starting earlier, some of the fights that were of note were Ryan Bader versus Phil Davis. Everyone expected Phil Davis, a guy who once was competitive with the likes of people like John Jones, but he turned out to not be able to quite close that deal. And last night he wasn't able to close that deal either, getting a split decision loss.
As it continues in Bellator.
Yeah, a split decision loss versus Ryan Bader. Really good for Ryan Bader to get that win. Phil Davis, I've always said that he was overrated. He just was very tall and looked John Jones-esque, but as we can see, he's not able to do that. But it was a split decision. He can come back and prove us all wrong. Moving along to Matt Mitrione versus Fedor Emelianenko. Really a big deal because Fedor is that guy that everyone knew about coming up. He's always this guy that everyone hoped would be able to be competitive in the UFC, but he's older, and he's doing the smart thing by playing over there in Bellator 180 because he can't really hang with the high-level fighters over there at UFC, and that was proven by Matt Mitrione, handing him a win. First round, 1 minute and 14 seconds. Fedor was TKO'd. I mean, to me, I think a TKO is worse. Is worse than just a straight knockout. Because TKO is just you were just overwhelmed by punches, and you could make a credit that you just.
We had to stop the fight to save your life because you were about to get destroyed.
Exactly. Whereas a KO, it could be an upset. So that
or just a random punch too.
Absolutely,
it might not always be the better fighter.
Yeah, but a TKO.
Hey, BK, like you mentioned earlier, a lot of names are Bellator, like Wanderlei Silva. Chael Sonnen, these guys are in Bellator now?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. They have been for a while, and this is a big fight. This was a fight that should have happened in the UFC. Chael Sonnen and Wanderlei Silva were on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil a while back, and it was probably the highest rated watched. It was so popular that in America, people were paying for UFC Fight Pass so that they could watch UFC Brazil television. I was one of those people that subscribed just to watch that season. And that fight, as you know, the coaches are supposed to fight at the end of the season. Well, there was an issue happening where Wanderlei Silva got popped for performance-enhancing drugs. And so he was never able to fight Chael Sonnen. And so that fight finally happened now. Even though it lost some steam, it still got some really good... I want to say that this... I won't say what I was about to say. Anyway, it was definitely a great fight. It was a great fight. Ended up being Chael Sonnen win. Play-by-play... It was a decision, unanimous decision by Big John McCarthy. Third round. So it was one of those things where Wanderlei Silva doesn't look bad. Chael Sonnen doesn't necessarily look incredibly dominant. Two older guys who really are past their prime, but they're still able to draw butts and seats. So good on Bellator MMA, and UFC is not to be beaten because UFC Fight Night is happening in just a little bit. And
I would like to just say real quick, BK. I mean, I don't watch near as much MMA as you,
Yeah.
but I was reading some notes about this, and what was surprising is, back when I did watch a little bit of UFC, Chael Sonnen had a great ground game.
Yeah.
And Wanderlei trained really hard on his ground game, and he didn't even get submitted or even put in a position to in this entire fight, which is huge because, as we know, the Silva that we usually know, he has bricks in it for hands. This guy is known for rocking everybody standing and fight. So for him to be able to do that, he's definitely improved, man. Maybe that was a good test for him. I think he'll.
Right.
Do you think he'll come back stronger? I feel he'll come back stronger.
I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, it's hard for me to care either way. It's Bellator.
All right, next.
I mean, I'm sorry.
So
I'm not
women's volleyball.
No, I'm not trying to block out
women's
you,
volleyball.
but Bellator, they're making some really good moves. The reason why I mentioned Bellator is because they are making great business moves. Right now, their talent level, again, is B level. It's B level talent. Who wins doesn't really matter. The placement of a free fight is what matters to a fight fan. For a mainstay type of person who is more mainstream crossover type of audience, more like you guys, this isn't that big of a deal for you. But someone like me, my homies were texting me who are into MMA and things like that. Shout out to Frank Connick. They're going to be texting me saying, "Hey, did you see that? These girls are fighting." But in terms of what people are going to be expecting, I'm not sure either way. It could go either way with these types of fighters. What I do care about, however, is UFC Fight Night 112, not to be defeated this Sunday. UFC, which is when we're recording this is why we won't have any sort of outline of what happened, but we can give you some quick rundown of the main event, which is going to be Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Lee. It's an important fight for lightweight division because these guys have had, first of all, it's a division that needs a future title challenger, and these guys have had some bad blood between each other, talking about each other's moms and stuff like that. These guys almost came to blows at the very in press conferences. But my prediction is going to be a strong fighter. While I think that Michael Lee is a very exciting fighter and he knows how to talk a good game, I think Chiesa is going to end up pulling out the win. Kevin Lee, I misspoke. Kevin Lee is a guy who's pretty exciting on paper and he talks a good game, but Michael Chiesa is going to get that win and help his mom feel good about being talked about. So that's basically the sports rundown, guys. Let me just tap the brakes for a second. Do you guys realize how much we've covered in a short period of time? We've covered 2 or 3 different sports events. We've covered movies. We've covered Netflix. We've covered opinions about where things are going. Whew. I need a quick little glass of water. Boy, it's good to know ya. Sorry.
Nice, Missy Elliott.
Hey, we put the thing down, flipped it, and reversed it, man. I mean, we did this thing in like already 30 minutes already. So I mean,
let me spit that thing at you that I was curious about, BK, that I finally need to get your take on that we haven't talked about. We talked about a few months back. We talked about it on a rundown show that you and I did back on episode 6, I believe. But now it's forced its way into the public spotlight, and we have to talk about it. You know what I'm talking about? Based on what subject we were just talking about, you want to take a guess? I'll give you 2 guesses.
I have nothing. I'm sorry. I'm still
He has
playing.
nothing. He has nothing.
I'm still playing.
He had the opportunity to say 2 random answers if any word in his lexicon, and he decided to tell me he didn't even want to take a stab at it. Man, the interest level is low, but I'm going to try to bring it up. We didn't want to talk about it a few months back because we weren't sure that it was going down, but Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather fight. As I mentioned to you back in March, you're like, this thing, why would we even talk about it? You remember, you're like, why would we even talk about it? I'm like, and then later on, we got to talk about, I was like, money and seats, pay-per-view, he'll be able to charge $120 for this.
Yeah, we did
and
a
now it is. Conor McGregor leaked some training footage a few days ago about how his boxing might be, but come on.
I mean, this fight is, I literally, it's so funny that it's so weird that I didn't guess that that's where you were going with this, because right before we pressed record, I was talking to my wife on the couch, and I was like, so when this fight happens in August, $100 I'm going to be spending on that, and we're going to charge $20 a head when they come in the house. Hood figures. You know what I'm saying?
Period, the end.
So, I mean,
I keep the perk by the pound.
I'm telling you, man. So it's I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's funny that I predicted that I wouldn't know what to say about this, because this is something that none of us expected.
Sorry, man. You just put me in the mood. I ain't heard that one in a minute,
bro. You know, if I'm gonna say a song, I'm gonna put it in there. You know, I done already put it in there. I done already put it in there. You know what I'm saying? You already got me.
He was already balls deep.
Exactly. So
I'm talking about balls deep.
It's so stupid. Anyway, going back to
have y'all ever seen that song performed by Cleveland Jr. on the Cleveland Show? Talking about balls deep.
Absolutely, we've seen that. But anyway, going back to Conor McGregor. Oh, hey, listen, we got to get back on the ball, man. Anyway,
God, the topography of this episode is so just smooth.
It is. But smooth as eggs.
No sucking egg action.
No, that was a reference to Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm gonna do now that I'm rich? I'm gonna get my balls waxed. They're gonna be smooth as eggs. So it was a reference to balls. And we were talking about balls deep and smooth as eggs. So that brings it right up.
That's how that sutures together.
Hashtag stay woke. But anyway, going back to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Money Mayweather. There's been a lot of things that have been dropped. Fake teaser trailers that have been going out. It's I can't believe this fight is actually going to happen. What it means for sports in general, it's anyone's best bet at this time. And any person trying to predict what's going to happen is an idiot. So I think it's best for us to just kick back, enjoy this for what it is. And, moment of silence for Canelo Alvarez, because they essentially put this right ahead of them. They put this because I believe Canelo's fight is going to be happening in September. So that's the reason why it's happened a lot sooner than people expected. They want to make sure, Mayweather Promotions is wanting to make sure that Canelo's fight doesn't take all of the market share. They want to make sure that, can you guys not hear me?
You're kind of cutting out pretty bad. It seems slightly better just now, maybe in the last 8 seconds, but it was cutting out pretty bad.
I got you. Okay. I'll start over there. Anyone who's trying to predict, anybody who's predicting
them balls.
Anyone who's predicting where this fight is going to go and what it's going to do for the sport and sports in general is an idiot. I think we should all just kick back, pop the popcorn, and just like T.O. used to say, and just enjoy what's going to happen.
Get your popcorn ready.
You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, speaking of getting the popcorn ready, listen.
Did you see that fight night, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out video I posted a couple days ago with the
Conor McGregor? Hey, if y'all have not seen that,
that's what I want to happen so bad.
In fact,
I want him to forget.
In fact, what we're going to do is when this episode posts, Derreck, on your Instagram and on your Twitter, post a link to that video. So if you're listening to this right now and you want to know what we're talking about, an incredibly funny prediction of who is going to win the McGregor versus
And you can just go
Mayweather
check
fight.
it out right there.
And
at
it is
Corrupting the
Mike
System.
Tyson Punch Out rendering. So enjoy it. Am I cutting in and out? I'm all for it.
That was really bad, man.
Yeah,
I have no
that was
idea what
worse
you
than
said
the last time.
when you said go to. You said put it on my Instagram, and then it went slow
I got
motion,
you.
drunk sounding.
It's at least clean on this end, so it'll be fine. I appreciate you guys for not interrupting because at least we got that clean take. But it's cool. We'll move on to something else. Let's have Nate jump in as a transition and about the moment of silence.
Okay.
Whoa, we're just gonna glaze over gentleman's bet, Dato.
I thought we end with
Or you wanna-
gentlemen's
Let's do moment of silence and then jump into
And then
gentleman's bet.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Equals up.
Okay. Speaking of knockouts, got a moment of silence for you guys.
Oh, moment of silence. Oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
This happened earlier this week, I believe. Disney has more or less fired Christopher Miller and Phil Lord as the directors of the standalone Han Solo movie, citing creative differences.
That's crazy.
Who knows what those might be? You know, I for one was excited that these guys were kind of doing Star Wars movie. Their last
else
three
have they
movies
done?
were absolutely hilarious. They did the 2 Jump Street movies, and then which was really good, really funny, surprisingly funny, and then Lego Movie, which was delightful. I love Lego Movie. So I was sort of excited to see them interject their sort of humor into the Star Wars universe. But Ron Howard has been replaced, or is replacing them as director.
Which I think is a much better move anyway. I think you have to wonder if they stepped down or if they were forced to resign.
I think they were basically fired.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Ron Howard is a much better choice. If nothing else, they need... I've been skeptical about the success of this film. Obviously, it's going to have an awesome opening no matter what. Star Wars fans always show up, so whether it's a good or bad film, it's going to have a great opening. I think adding Ron Howard, they want to have a better, more experienced Spielberg-esque director because they understand the importance of the intellectual property that is Han Solo. So this could either be a huge win for them or be a huge moment of silence.
It was just surprising that it took so long for them to realize these quote-unquote creative differences. You know, they're only about 4 or 5 weeks from completing shooting.
Yeah.
So they've shot quite a bit already.
Well, you know what that means. That means somebody looked at the dailies and said, we got to go reshoot this shit all over. That's what that is. That's what that is. Somebody was like, no, this is terrible.
But again, you know, they've
BK,
probably
for
been
the layman,
shooting for
what are the
months.
dailies?
Dailies. Okay, sorry, my apologies.
Daily
a quick
footage.
background on who we are as the hosts because we've never really talked about that.
It is episode 10, man.
Yeah, it is episode 10. Shout out to us for episode 10.
The player way.
Exactly. But Nate is actually a very amazing graphic artist. You can catch his Instagram and some of his side pieces of art that he does in his own free time at Instagram at NPGPX. So check that out, and he has some amazing artwork that he has made. In fact, he even had a brief stint where he was working for a company that does Netflix posters. You know, the little Q pictures. So that's his background. An amazing graphic artist that actually used to travel with me around the country. I am I am a graphic artist too, but I'm more of a director / producer.
Scoreboarding.
Yeah,
this is called scoreboarding.
Hey, this is good for us. Listen, I'm coming to you next. I'm building.
No. I was just saying he's like, I also do what Nate does as well in my spare time when I'm asleep.
But anyway, I
also moonlight as a interpretive dancer.
Exactly. I'm a director / producer. I used to own a production company called SP Agency. I've done a ton of music videos, a ton of short films, and corporate videos as well. I kind of moonlight as a director of audiovisual for an arena / convention center now. And then Derreck is a sales aficionado. This man has, if you put a sales goal in front of him, he has worked for some of the best Fortune 500 companies, and when it comes to closing a sale, this man knows how to do it. We're not going to mention who he works for right now, but let's just say a certain lizard is it should be looked upon, and he is rising.
Let's keep him anonymous. Let's call him Derreck L. No. Let's just say D. Lewis.
Exactly.
And if you do talk to him, you might be
and
able to
I'm not the artist that
or more on a.
and Derreck is also.
I'm not the artist that Nate is, but I am going to be posting some more of my little abstract sketches more on my Instagram, which is corrupting the system.
So I'll bring that up. If you notice, I brought that up because we always talk about box office numbers. We always talk about the business side of things, and we talk about certain jargony type terms like dailies. And so sometimes we may need to explain that to you, but just know we know how to do movies not only as audience the player way, but we also know how to produce and sell films the player way as well. So getting back to what dailies are at the end of a week or end of a just day of shooting, just to make sure that you're on track and logging all the footage. Sometimes directors and producers want to see the footage and want to make sure, studio heads sometimes want to see it as well and want to make sure that they're on track to where they are. Dailies you only want more experienced movie makers to see dailies because it's not edited together yet. It's just raw footage showing all of the stuff that they've shot for the day. And a lot of times you could be filming something from the end of the movie and something that's in the middle of the movie and something at the beginning of the movie all at the same time, and it may not necessarily make sense sequentially, but it does give you an idea of how well actors are doing, how well the actual footage is going to look before it's retouched. So if you're getting bad feelings from the dailies before post-production even starts, that's where reshoots come in at first. And then reshoots will also come back in after the movie has been cut together, roughly, and people get to see kind of like a first director's cut of what the film is like, and so that they can know whether or not this film is ready for human consumption. So
it's kind of like a pulse check while you're putting it together?
It can be if it's used correctly. A lot of times dailies are not used well. It's not something that a studio head should be looked at, but if they're concerned, they will request to look at the dailies, and they'll want to take a look at them and see what's going on. So
Nate, would you think that maybe that, kind of what BK has postulated here for us, that's maybe what happened with these guys, that they were on like a downward trend, and maybe that's why they were dismissed from the movie?
Possibly, but again, I mean, dailies can be looked at any day.
Yes.
This is months into shooting already, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
again,
so
it's why did it take this long?
Yeah, it's what I was saying is it's like looking at dailies over and over again and getting closer to the end of the shoot, and they're like, there could be 2 or 3 questions that they've been asking of the directors and producers and saying, when are we going to see this? When is this happening? We're going to get to that. We'll get to that toward the end of the shoot, and then they get to the end of the shoot, and we still haven't seen this yet. Where's this, and where's that, and where's that? Studio heads get really impatient, and they're like, well, we haven't seen this. We're just not seeing it yet. We're not seeing what makes this. We're not seeing what differentiates this from our other things, our other competitors. So I'm not feeling this right now. So it's a dangerous thing. Daily look for.
And when you're Disney, you have unlimited ammo in the form of greenbacks. You can scrap a movie $100 million into it and just restart, I guess.
Or you can hire Ron Howard to fix it all.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I think that's where we're at.
It's almost. I kind of. Do you guys remember Entourage? You guys watch Entourage?
Yes.
You remember where they opened? I forgot which season they did, but they opened with them filming Medellin. And then Billy, the director's just like slow downfall. He's not showing anyone any cuts. I almost feel like maybe that's what happened.
Hey, it could be. You're right on point with that. That could be it, man. What do you want to bet? What do you want to bet?
Whoa, well, whenever you mention bet, that makes me want to hop in my buggy over here and drive on down to the track.
Well,
you know what I do at the track?
I was gonna. Hey, I can't even with you. I can't even do it. I was gonna say, what do you guys bet? Something with this, but let's just move on to what I really wanted to talk about.
Please keep all of this. Don't take anything out that we just said over the past 29 seconds. Please.
Hey, I'm not going to edit out any of this, and nor am I going to edit out this spanking that somebody's about to take in this.
Bets. Place your bets here. We got a gentleman bet right over here. Let's get it going, boys.
There's a spanking to be had.
All right, it's time for the gentleman's bet. So, Derek, give us a quick rundown of where we kind of ended up last week.
All right. Last week, we, of course, were talking about the upcoming Michael Bay film of Transformers, the last installment, allegedly the last installment. Because I will say that there is a huge tease to a possible other Transformers movie at the end of this movie that I didn't mention earlier. But I've mentioned it now, and that's what counts. And now you know.
And no one's and
G.I. Joe!
Shut
and
up, really?
We discussed that this
wait,
movie...
Wait, hold on, go back. The G.I. Joe part. Wait, how did they tease that?
Oh, you know what? Yes, also keep this in, BK. No, they didn't tease anything to G.I. Joe. It's just that phrase of now you know and knowing is half the battle is from a TV show in the 80s called G.I. Joe.
Well, I mean, Hasbro owns both the properties. I'm surprised they haven't tried to combine them yet.
Dang it. You make a very good point. That they should call in the G.I. Joes to fight these things. No, it's just a mention to Unicron.
Ah, nice.
And where Unicron is actually located.
That's not
Cybertron. But anyway,
that's not nearly as exciting as the GI Joes fighting Optimus Prime.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck Unicron is.
Let me go back to sleep because we're stay woke over here. No, I'm just kidding. The bet was
Autobot lives matter.
Autobots transform.
All transmissions matter.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Don't be sorry. No reason. It was a Michael Bay film. It was a 5-day opening weekend. It was a Transformers movie, and all the other Transformers have been somewhere between 80 and 100 opening weekend. So there was no reason for Nate and I to think really otherwise until we start hearing the murmurs on Wednesday evening, Thursday. Oh yes, the evil Dr. Doom in the back, and we
So was you watching it Saturday night was like a last ditch effort to
I was probably my $22. Yes, my $22 was probably the last money that it was going to make this weekend because it is not doing well at all. I think its Box Office Mojo has it predicting for around 45, which is perfectly within the range of somebody saying 45 to 50. And not within the range of 60 to 100 that I so glamorously threw out there.
I so called it, guys. I so called it.
But I will say this: I am 4 for 5 on these things, and you are 1 for 5. So at least I have my hat to hang on that.
I'm pretty sure I'm 2 for 3 actually.
2 for maybe with Nate, but not with me, because we still had Pirates and we still had the Alien and we still had that. So. But Alien Covenant did do 300,000 this weekend. And Guardians of the Galaxy still did 10 times more at 3 million.
Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy,
Guardians of the Galaxy
exactly.
talk.
Let's talk about
BK.
it. Let's do it. It's only right.
It's still a wonderful movie. Excellent movie, right? I mean, we got a great movie, and it's got a good burn going out there. Do you know what it's done year to date?
I don't know. I don't know what it's done. Derek, please tell me what it's done.
Well, if you were to look at it, it's at 380 million.
Yeah, but what's worldwide?
Okay, so when have we ever?
We're looking at
worldwide?
domestic present.
All
right, how about this, Nate? You can give us worldwide in a minute.
Hold on, time out. Every week I say this is America. It is always domestic, and we always. Someone always says, "Are we talking worldwide?"
Flat Earth people.
No.
Forget the rest of the world exists.
No, I'll correct you. I am a lab ass bitch, a local ass bitch. I believe that we live in the greatest country in the world, and therefore, why travel anywhere else? So yes. I would love to make America great again.
Who is his
Absolutely.
president?
Yes, exactly. So anyway, but my point is, my point is we always go by domestic numbers. So if we were going by worldwide numbers and our bet was based on worldwide numbers, then yes, you would be correct. However, you are not.
We're just gonna come with straight facts on this one. All right. Guardians of the Galaxy has done $380,213,327. And worldwide has done $851,213,327. So we're looking at 380 domestic, 850 worldwide, okay? 380 domestic, 850 worldwide. Wonder Woman is at 318,380,158, and it still has another week to be out before it's been out the full month that we're going to compare. And worldwide, it is 652 million. So it is 200 million less worldwide, but it's been out only 3 total weeks. So it is definitely inching toward that. And so, I mean, honestly, after July opening weekend, we're going to be looking at either very parallel movies. These movies are going to be very, very close. I mean, it's at 650 worldwide, and Guardians is at 850, Nate. If you're going worldwide, we can bypass domestic talk, because domestic's at 318 versus 380. So we're just looking at 60 million. And Wonder Woman did about 25 million. It matched Cars 3, and it came out June 2nd.
Yeah.
It's doing good things. Honestly, it's really doing good things to be.
So Nathan, so will you just go ahead and just finally tell the audience, speaking to the microphone, the beautiful microphone that you have, that big black mic, just speak right into it, and just say, Wonder Woman has finally done Guardians of the Galaxy money. I just want you to say it
domestically.
I just want you to say it. I just want you to say that it has exceeded my expectations. I just need you to say it. Our audience deserves to hear that it
on this flat Earth, and domestically, yes, it has exceeded my expectations. But I'm a man of science, and I realize that there's an entire world out there.
You go ahead, spin that yarn, bro. You go ahead. You go on ahead.
So I'm just saying.
But in all kidding aside, how well?
No, in all kidding aside, it's definitely exceeded my expectations. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think it's going to grow beyond Guardians? Do you think it's going to lap Guardians at this point?
In its overall take, I mean, are you talking about domestic or worldwide?
I'll take. Well, let's start with domestic.
Possibly, yeah.
Good. Okay. But worldwide, of course it won't.
No.
Of course it won't. Of course, the reason why, and people might want to know why we don't want to talk about. Here's why we don't talk about worldwide.
Well. Here's why you don't talk about. Worldwide.
No. Why we as a group. Here's why we as a group don't. We are Americans. We live in America, and our marketing and all of the research that we have with our senses to see and feel and touch and taste, it's in our country. So for us to give an understanding of what we would think this thing would do worldwide, we'd have to be traveling all the time. And since none of us travel all the time worldwide, it's out of our wheelhouse to even try, because worldwide it's a whole nother ball game. So it's not because, yes, I told a Trump-esque type of joke earlier, but all kidding aside, the reason why we want to talk domestic is because we want to give you guys, the people who listen to us weekly, an honest look, something that we actually can predict with any ounce of certainty. So that's why we don't mess with worldwide numbers at all. Based on what we see here, yeah, of course it's going to lap it.
Honestly, BK, if I could just say this,
Wait, are you really going to be honest?
I'm going to be honest right now.
Are you just going to be? Are you just going to be American audience?
To further expand on why we don't do the worldwide box office numbers, if you remember at the end of May, Nate, you informed us that Guardians had hit over 800 million, and that means almost a month later, worldwide has gone to 851 million. Yes. So by the end of June, which is next week, we'll take a look at the worldwide box office numbers for Wonder Woman, and since Guardians was at 800, and if Wonder Woman's at 650 right now, it's possible it may be at 700 or so, which would be outside of your original 10 million buffer, even though that still only applies domestic. But 700 million worldwide versus 800 million worldwide, you could arguably group those together for worldwide numbers, correct?
If you think 100 million is that small of a
If you're looking in terms of 700 or 800 million, yes. If 100 million would be a footnote if we're discussing billions, but 100 million, if somebody's worth 700 million versus 800 million, we're going to still look at those gentlemen with regards of they're both millionaires. Like, so what if he's 100 million less? Like, you know what I mean? So,
well, that's
I'm
how
just
we do
saying these. It's not like it's 400 million and 800 million, 500, even 600, but being within 100 million of something like that you said wouldn't even make Guardians money. This is why BK said I'm a good salesman.
but in all,
on to the next.
I will say this though: is it not a fun time to like play with box office numbers? Everything is so unpredictable right now. It's so volatile.
I wish you could bet, at Vegas.
I'm telling you,
box
it
office
really should
betting.
be. Because
speaking of Vegas, Nate,
hold
their...
on before you go, because I did have a point with that, and we'll come back to that. I promise. Let's put a bookmark.
No, you're good.
But the thing that here's why I think it's kind of crazy, because I was for sure I was going to lose after last week. I even said on the last episode, I was like, I know that I'm wrong, and I know I'm going to lose. I'm going to go based on what I believe should be true, and the fact that it actually happened, I'm not patting myself on the back or anything. I'm just saying, like, who would have predicted that this, which had every indication of being a much better film, and then on top of that,
had a chance to be.
Anytime you retire a series, and I'm using quotations because we all know they're making more, but anytime you retire a series and say it's the last one, that's what Donald Glover's trying to do right now. He's trying to pull his Jay-Z. That's how you get those numbers. But it's just insane. The Wonder Woman is insane. The fact that Alien,
they might have to retire Transformers.
I'm telling you, dude. Even they're talking about this standalone Bumblebee movie.
No.
Dude. What's nuts is, as I mentioned earlier, like for them to even bring in the fact of Unicron, and to fill you in, Nate, Unicron is a planet-sized transformer, just to let you know, okay?
Ooh.
Yeah.
And they kind of teased Unicron.
Well, in the world back in the 80s, it was crazy to see a planet-sized Transformers when all you'd been used to was like 18-wheelers and jets.
Let me guess. Unicron is Earth? Is that what they're going to go to?
Well, that's always been the speculation anyway. Like, that's where Unicron's been hidden. And but anyway, that's what they're heading toward. And to have like all that material and to still not even hit it at the box office, dude, it's just it's not and coupled. And I think the things that make Michael Bay movies bad, as I mentioned earlier, like the video editing, you guys know what I'm talking about. Just the non-continuity through any shots. It irritates me. Even one of my favorite movies, Bad Boys 2, which I will watch anytime, it still irritates me just to see... Hey, do it for fun. Let's go.
Girl, take it
but
back.
This movie... Go, take it low. You can't even do it slow. All right, anyway, shout out to Nelly, P. Diddy, and Murphy Lee. The ticks connect like Voltron.
Can't stop now.
Collecting so much grass, popo pico, we mow lawns. It amplifies how bad Michael Bay movies are. Like, it's so obvious. Just like, all right, so we're right here, and this has been apparent through every Transformer movie as well, when it's like, all right, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. All right, now it's the sun's down, but they just said it was dinner time, and now they're waking up, but it's 4 a.m., but the sun's already out. Like, just, I know there's people that makes a lot more money than I do to make sure that doesn't make it into the movies, and Michael Bay just doesn't care. I just have a ton of budget for explosives and everything, and the material of a huge franchise of Transformers that you can literally do anything. I mean, this thing has staying power through the animated world. I mean, how many Transformers series have there been? But he cannot get it right for the movies. And it's entertaining to see, man. Take your kids to go see it. Like, it's cool, but, man, like, to have all that material and fail is just sad.
Michael Bay I think he makes great movies. Like,
outside of Armageddon,
The Rock,
3... Welcome!
Bad Boys 1, Bad Boys 2. I really love Pain and Gain, and I love 13 Hours. I think that was an amazing movie. What else has he done? Well, Pearl Harbor.
All right, well, that was quite a lot that you had ready already.
I mean, but Transformers 1 in itself was a very good movie, too. And
then the other 4 were trash, though.
Yeah.
You can't have a 20%. This is like John Travolta's movie career. He does one good movie for every 3 bad ones, but you don't want...
I don't think he's a bad director.
All right.
If you base it on the Transformers alone, the series alone, then yes, I would say.
But honestly, the thing, like any Michael Bay movie I watch is all like, even I love The Rock. It was a very cool movie. However, I don't like how Michael Bay edits his movies together. That's my personal biggest hang. Now cuts. But they don't make sense. Like, I don't want to have somebody sitting at the dinner table at 5 o'clock in the next scene. It's like, 2 o'clock in the morning, but we're supposed to believe that this is just 5 minutes later. Like in this movie, there were so many times and when it comes to like battle scenes and explosions and stuff like that, there's a lot of things that you have to put back to make it look like that it's a continuous shot. So when I'm looking at a dilapidated hotel getting shot at and I see a guy standing having a ridiculous moment of a speech that no one even cares who you are, even a support character, like I even forgot you were in the movie until right now when I thought of it. And then the next scene you're crouched in the corner, and then the next scene you're trying to be a hero, and the next scene you're right back leaning against the wall finishing your thought. Like I'm ready, like it tears my spine up. I'm like, I'm so annoyed at it. But like, I feel like Michael Bay movies are fun to watch.
This is not how real life works at all.
I know, and that may be a silly thing to get nitpicky on realism and those type of things in a movie about alien transformers fighting on Earth. But I'm going to default back to Marvel. Marvel does it. Like, they can do it. Even the Black Panther trailer had better continuous cuts, and it's a trailer than this Michael Bay movie. You know what I'm saying?
And I will say, your Marvel does it. Your Marvel does it reference just now. That beautiful exclamation. We're going to drop bombs for that right now, because you're watching a master at work. However, we owe one more moment of silence, and that moment of silence will either go to Amy Pascal or Kevin Feige. All right. Have you guys heard about what happened this week? And this will be the last. This will be the last thing we talk about before we close out for the day. But we got to talk about the fact that Sony and Marvel apparently and obviously have different ideas of where Spider-Man is going and how it fits with Sony's brand extension of Spider-Man and how it works as being part of the MCU. Did you guys see this interview this week? The one I'm talking about?
What happened in it? For the people who didn't.
Can you take it, Nate? Because you're better at these types of things.
Basically, while they were doing a press junket for Spider-Man Homecoming, Amy Pascal, I don't know what her official role at Sony is, but I think she's sort of one of those top heads of the movie studio there, was asked a question about the announced Sony movie or Spider-Man spin-offs, namely Venom starring Tom Hardy, which we have talked about, and this is one of the stupidest movies announced, is a movie called Silver and Black, which is supposed to contain Black Cat and Silver Sable. She goes on to say...
Who?
Exactly. She goes on to say that these movies will be a part of the MCU, and, God bless the internet, some person took that snippet of footage and did a sad Kevin Feige, I guess, video that went viral, which had his... I think they desaturated the video and put on Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel.
That's been a meme that's been going on. It kind of started with Batfleck when
sad Affleck.
Yeah. when he was obviously exhausted and wasn't paying attention that the cameras were on. But yeah, I mean,
I think the original one is the picture of sad Keanu. Yeah.
That might be. You might be right about that.
Yeah,
I think you're right. It is sad Keanu. but it says a lot. I mean, the fact that Sony would blindside, and I want to give a shout out to James Turner, one of my boys that works on my crew. He's a great business partner, and we were in a car drive going on to a lunch meeting one day, and he mentioned the whole interview, and I was watching it. As I was driving, he pulled it up on his phone, and we were listening to the audio. And it's real obvious that Amy Pascal blindsided Kevin Feige with this information. And his reaction, he tries his best to be professional. I mean, you got to give it to him. The man tried not to react at all, but she kept throwing in little things like she all but said Spider-Man and Venom will be all a part of the MCU. She almost said it. Like, it was like, and if she had it, we all would have been.
She's a producer on Spider-Man Homecoming, and she's a producer on this Venom, and she's producer for, of course, the alleged Spider-Man Homecoming
she works
sequel.
for Sony.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Sony, because Sony ultimately is owned by Sony ultimately owns Spider-Man. So in a weird twist of fate, we all know about that story. I won't belabor that point, but it shows what Sony's trying to do. They're trying to build off of the 10 years, over a decade of toil and success that Marvel has created. And so everybody and their mom is just trying to feed off of this thing. Even Microsoft with their video game, they're trying to, or was it Sony? Sony is PlayStation. Yeah, Sony through their PlayStation. Yeah, they're even trying to build off of it. So it's weird. It's all very weird on how this is all going on. And
well, let's just clarify that since then, both parties, both Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal, have clarified their comments and said they will not.
You mean
be
they talk to their
MCU.
PR?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You mean Kevin Feige flipping a bitch having a bitch fit like backstage?
Well, and
what the hell is wrong with
Pascal has
you?
made an official statement too, saying these are standalone movies. What she said she was trying to say is they are Marvel properties in the sense that Fox makes X-Men movies.
Oh no, we know what she was really trying to say.
She was trying to slip it in there. Absolutely,
she tried it, but Marvel put that pimp hand. It was too strong.
Yeah.
It was too strong.
No one knows like the fine details of what the deal exactly entails, but I imagine Marvel has creative control over Spider-Man.
I mean, they have to.
They wouldn't do it any otherwise.
We don't even have to see the contract. We already know that that's the truth, and it shows a moment of silence, possibly for Sony, but it remains to be seen because who knows what can happen. I mean, if they keep Tom Holland, is that correct?
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, Tom
Holland.
Yeah, if they keep Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and they separate from Marvel, which is totally possible, then it won't matter. It won't matter.
Once his contract is up, though, I mean, they can do whatever. But I think as long as Tom Holland is contracted, because he's contracted for 3 Spider-Man movies and then the 3 Avengers movie, or, Civil War and then the 2 upcoming Infinity War sequels. And then his contract's up at Spider-Man 3. And then I imagine that's where the deal ends. So they'd probably have to come up with a different structure or just make another Spider-Man apart from the MCU.
Well, we do know that Sony is posturing Miles Morales to take over as the next Spider-Man at E3 when they announced the new Spider-Man open world game, and it has several shades of the Batman Arkham series that we've seen. Video games.
Unreal Engine?
Yeah, on that. Yeah, so the new Spider-Man game has a lot of that type of feel to it, and they announced at the end of that teaser trailer, even though Peter Parker was the Spider-Man, he was an older Peter Parker, and at the very end you see Miles Morales on the street. So you could tell that they're trying to build the brand with the quote-unquote black Hispanic Spider-Man. So
they're coming out with a animated Spider-Man movie starring Miles Morales.
Exactly. So they know what they're doing. What they may end up doing is they may end up having 2 different Spider-Man series in theaters at the same time, competing with Marvel. Which
I certainly hope they do.
Yeah.
I love watching downfalls.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Sony
crazy.
as a studio doesn't have a good track record.
Everything burns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some people just want to
Please, by all means, make the Silver Sable movie. Watch as no one goes to watch it.
And speaking of burning, time is burning. So, guys, thank you. I might even call this Entertainment Blitzcast 2. We got so much jam-packed in this episode. So, and who do I have to thank? Not myself first, because I started with myself first at the beginning of this episode. I'm going to let Nate go first. Shout out to Nate.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Corrupting the System himself, Derreck.
Corrupting the system.
And of course, as always, I am your boy BK. And I just may. You know what I say. We can have hay and play all day. Shout out to Happy Gilmore.
Oh, on this day.
But anyway, thank you guys for joining us another week.
Balls.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to throw balls in
balls
there.
In. Ball in.
Talk about balls.
And we're going to do that as the play out. We'll see y'all next week.
Yes.
I'm talking about.
Thanks for listening to the Player Way Podcast.
Recorded in a single take from Los Angeles, California, Dallas, Texas, and Atlanta, Georgia, by Nathan Peterson, Derek Lewis, and BK Jackson. Our opening theme is titled Bound by Ricky Remedy, courtesy of Elysian Records. And our closing theme is titled Coconut King Diaries by Xander, spelled Zahnder. You can find this music by both Ricky Remedy and Xander, and many more tracks on SoundCloud. And remember, no matter what choices you make or paths you follow, just make sure you do it the player way. See you next week.